I want to build the cabinet for the nose of the trailer. So it will be back into this corner, so the back corners of it will be 45 back in. But then it's going to square out and create some sides rather than being wide angled a cabinet all the way through. I've decided I want the sides. I want to use these walls beside the cabinet to hang electric cords and air hoses on both sides. And the shelves that'll be adjustable, I'm going to want those to pull out. The nice thing about a shelf that pulls out is I can put them a little closer together and not have to leave enough height to kind of see it and get to things. And I like these bins. They're great to, they contain things. They're pretty universal, and I can pull them out individually if I've got some supplies and I want to take the whole bin into the job. So what I want to do is have the inside of the cabinet to house two of these. I don't want them super tight. Plus I want to put a little stop, which I'll show you, that when I pull the shelf out, that it won't, tip down. I can pull it out part way and just let it sit there. And so I need a little room on the side. So if I made it exactly 24 inches, it'd be too tight. So I'm going to go an inch over. So I know I want to go 25 inches. Depth-wise, for the rectangular portion or the square portion of the cabinet, I want it deep enough to house this depth of bin, which is 18 inches. I also can use these bins. These 3 width-wise will fit where 2 of those do. They're not as deep, so they'll certainly fit. So if I make it to fit 2 of these side by side, then I'll still have the angular portion behind this that I can fit in one of these bins or just store some other things. So with that in mind, I know that I want it 25 inches wide inside of the cabinet. So it'll be outside dimensions of the cabinet will be additionally, it will be another 1.5 inches for the thickness or width of the material. And then the square portion of the cabinet, again, will be 18 inches, but I want to have a lip in the front. Now, because these are angled down or they curve down, I don't need to extend the depth any more than 18 inches because I'll be able to, on the shelf, put a little 3/4 inch stop that'll just keep these from sliding out. So with that, I just grabbed a chunk of scrap off the recycle pile and I cut it to length. I went ahead and made it 25 1/4. That'll give me plenty of room to do everything I need, and there's no need to make it any tighter. I want to find out from the square rectangular portion of the cabinet how deep I have to go back, and that'll give me the overall depth of the cabinet. So what I'll do is, down on the floor, I will just put it on the wall until the distance from the back edge is the same on both sides, and I'll make a mark, and that way I'll know it'll be square, and then all I have to do is lay it out from there. So I'll go and I'll have my 18 inches from the back edge of this out to the front edge of the cabinet, and then I can add the depth, and then I'll know I'll have to cut some rectangular pieces, which then will be cut 45 on the back edge. The sides are going to be standard cabinet sides, except I will 45 the back edge so that it'll fit fairly tight against the wall. So that's what I'm going to do now, is lay this out, figure everything out, and write up my dimensions, and then I can go to the saw and start cutting it. I'll need 2 sides for the cabinet that will be 18 inches. So I'll need to rip an 18 inch, and I want to do that with a 45 on it so that the back edge will push tight to the nose of the trailer. And so the long point will be 18, so it'll actually cut away. So I don't need any more than 18. And then the width of the shelves are going to be 25 1/4. So by using one piece of plywood, if I have it at 18, and then the fall off is going to be 30, so that gives me enough room to get some shelves out of the fall off. So that is 2 sheets of plywood will give me the sides, the 2 sides that I need, and then the overall depth of the shelves will be 27.5. So if I lay that out on the plywood, that'll give me 3 shelves with about 13, 14 inches of waste, which obviously I'll use that for something else. So that'll be the most efficient use of the plywood. So it's a good idea to think about when you're breaking down your plywood, think about the sizes you need. By this little story pole I made out of a piece of scrap, drew out what I needed, had all my dimensions, I can quickly look at a piece of plywood and get the best use out of it. If I just went ahead and said, oh, I want to build the sides first, and I did an 18 and an 18, then I would have 36 plus the blade width loss. So I would hit, my fall off would be 12 inches, and I could use that for the shelves. Obviously I could use it for something else, but in this case 2 sheets, I'll end up getting 6 shelves and the 2 sides, which may be all I need. I may want 1 or 2 more shelves, which then I'll have to dig into some other pieces. Hopefully I'll have some cutoff. In fact, I do have a piece of cutoff there that I can get 3 more out of. So anyway, when you're doing a cabinet or any kind of job, just really think about the layout of your material, because a lot of times, if you're on one, if you've got one track and you're on it, you're not thinking through the whole project. Just like you're building a house, start at the ridge and come down. You want to start at the finish point and work your way backwards, and that way you know where you're going and you'll get the best use of material and the best use of your time. So it's just a simple concept, but once you get in that mindset, you'll use it in everything that you do. What I ended up doing for the cabinet for the nose of the trailer was just building standard cabinet sides and just drilling on standard 5mm holes, 32mm on center. I 45'd the back edge so that I could push it tight. The only structure to the cabinet other than the shelves is the base. So I went ahead and put in a solid base just to kind of hold it together. This spreader here is just temporary. I put a pocket screw in just to hold it in place. The back edges are screwed every about 8 inches into the plywood, and I had made lines and went to those lines, and I had some temporary spacers pocket screwed in on the back for the installation, and once it was solid on the back, I pulled those out. And then for the spacing on the front, I obviously have this temporary, which will come out after I get up here with my last shelf. So the shelves, they pull out just like they do on this one, and the reason for that is I can put them closer together. If I didn't have them pull out, to see in there I'd have to have more spacing. So I can, when I need to get something, I can just pull it out a bit, or even all the way out if I want to. So the shelves, this particular one has the sides, the way they all will, to hold the shelf up. And those you saw me make in an earlier video. They're pocket screwed in. I use the holes with the pins to get these where I want them, but then I use 5 pocket screws on each side, and that gives me a nice solid support that I can move up and down if I ever need to adjust these. But I also need to keep the front together. So I've got the bottom is solid, and then on this particular shelf I put in a spreader. This is in with pocket screws underneath, and so that's removable. So this whole thing can be moved, but it gives me a rigid cabinet here. And then up in this space, my top, when I get to my top shelf, which will be a few inches down from the top edge, when I get up there, then I'll put a solid spreader in there, pocket screwed in, and then I can remove this. So the shelves I showed earlier, they're just cut to fit in to rest on the sides and then fill in on the back, so that one, things don't fall off the back, and I have a little more shelf space, better use of the nose of the trailer. And then I also drilled some holes in the front edge, and then on the spacers, I'm not sure if the video is showing all of this, but on the spacers I put some screws in, and what that does is those screws fall into those holes, so I have to lift the front of the shelf just a little bit to pull it out, so it won't slide out. And then I put a 1/2 inch block on the sides, and that is spaced up just a little bit above the shelf, enough that I can lift the shelf and get it over the screw head. But when I have supplies on it, I can pull it out and let it rest on that. I don't have the one on this side yet, but I will soon, and that'll hold up even more. But so I can pull it out, and obviously it tips forward a bit, and that's because I had to hold it up. If I wanted to stay straight, I could have it tighter, but then I wouldn't be able to lift it above the screw head. So when I push it back in, see, it drops in and it won't pull out. I have to lift slightly and then it'll pull out. So that will give me the most efficient use of all the interior space of this. So what I'm doing to finish this cabinet out is I'm still loading the trailer. I'm down to where my tools are in, except for the big tools that I'm still using. I'm getting my supplies and materials in the trailer now, and so I'm just sort of building them up as I go. I have more shelves than I need. So, I'll be able to do these any way I want. After I get the rails screwed in where I want them, I just mark where the screw goes. I know that it's 3 1/4 inches in from the front edge and 1 inch over. And I have these 1/2 inch number 10 large head screws. So the shelf goes in, and you can see where the holes drop right in, and that flushes the front of the shelf. And then I have 1 inch wide 1/2 inch plywood, 10 inches long. I need to have a little bit of spacing so that if I put them tight, then I can't lift them off the screw head. So I take 3 pieces of my vinyl pad, seems to be right. Set those right on there. So you can see it's completely modular, kind of future-proofed. I can put them closer together, further apart. Obviously, it takes a few minutes to pull the screws out, but I've got the strength for traveling down the road. It won't slide out in transit, but I can slide it out for use on the job. So I like this detail. I haven't done this before. This was created by need as I was going here, and I started with this one, got kind of a good idea. And on this one I made taller fronts and put handles. I decided on these, if I were doing this now, I wouldn't bother. A little extra work making that extra height I don't need. This is plenty of height and just grabbing on and pulling. So this simplifies, improves on this design, and is very functional. So I'll just keep marching on, keep loading this up.
Hopefully in seeing me develop this trailer, you have discovered some techniques, some tips that can help you in your construction business. Whether you're a home builder, a commercial contractor, or even a homeowner that wants to do your own weekend projects, a lot of these techniques can be used in even a single car garage. It's just the idea of organizing your tools and having them ready to use instead of having them buried and tough to get out. It's kind of a hurdle to do the job. If you do like these videos, if they're helpful to you, I'd appreciate it if you'd subscribe to my Paul Combs YouTube channel. You can do so by clicking on the link right here in this video, or there are also the ability to go to the Paul Combs YouTube page and subscribe there. And also, if you could share these videos, it's really easy to do. If you're watching one of the videos and you particularly like it, you can just click on the share button and then just choose whatever area you want to share it, whether it's on Google or Facebook or LinkedIn, or tweet it. And also, if you want to share the entire series, you can go to whatever series that is, in this case, the Awesome Rolling Toolbox, and you have the same share button there, and you can choose the same options. And in both locations, you can also email it just by clicking on the email and putting in your friend or family's email address, and they'll receive a link to this and be able to go right through the videos. And of course, you can do it right at the link. You can just highlight the link, right click, put share, and then you can email or Facebook or whatever. So there's a lot of easy ways. It only takes a second, and it is really helpful. It gets them out there, and it's encouraging for me to keep making these videos. If you'd like to build yourself one of the workbenches that you see me using in these videos, click on the link right here. It'll take you to the Paul Combs website. Once you get there, click on the Paul Combs store. Once you get to the store, choose the plan or package of plans you'd like, and then within a matter of a couple of minutes, you'll receive an email. And at the bottom of that email, you will find a link and a password so you can download the plans instantly. So again, you go over here, complete the purchase, and the plans are yours to download and print right away. You don't have to wait for me to email them to you. And one final thing, we have a Pinterest page for the workbenches that have been built around the world. And it's a lot of fun to post them up there. We probably only have 1 out of 100 of the plans that we've sent out do we get any photos back. So we'd really like to get more photos. You can go over to the Pinterest page and just have a lot of fun looking at what other people have done and how they've adapted the plans for their needs. Thanks for taking the time to watch. Have a great day.